You know, I've said this over and over again. It doesn't matter how much you achieve outside your country. A time will come when you'll be asked, where are you originally from? And where you are from, how developed the place is, how knowledgeable the people are, how successful the people are, will determine how you're judged, how you're respected, how you're rated. It said, charity begins at home. So on my trip, on my book trip quite recently, and especially to UK, I met this amazing lady who came to see me at my hotel and had a conversation with me and told me about how a group of Ghanaian nurses based especially in UK come to Ghana every year since 2017 to train the nurses here, to pass on knowledge and also to do charity work. I thought that was laudable. At least somebody in the media who's been in the media for that long, I didn't know about them. So today, I invited them to come on the standpoint to tell us exactly what they've been doing and what they hope to achieve with this. And also gave us, we the patients, we the clients who go to the hospitals, what we are to expect, the questions to ask, our rights as pertains out there. Knowledge is power. Let me say thank you to OG's Figure-Wise collection. I saw them on Facebook and they decided to give me this beautiful dress for this program today. This is the first time I'm wearing something from them. So thank you so much to them. I said thank you to Inshila for my hair, and it was beautifully styled by Michelin's Mirror, and my makeup done by Teiba Makeup. She is on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Her telephone number is on there. And as always, thank you to Note Cosmetics for the makeup products. My beads by Matilda Hood Couture, MHC. And then my shoes. Today I'm wearing a Frax Closet. Thank you to all of them. We take a break. When we come back, we meet the team. They call them the Trail Bridge. And they're all about saving every single Ghanaian woman who goes to the labor ward and prays that they come back home alive with their children. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. And yes, we are about to have a very interesting conversation. I told you in my intro, I met this amazing lady, Mrs. Edua Mankwa, in London, who she came to my hotel to see me. And, you know, we had a beautiful conversation, which is ending. Oh, no, it's continuing here. It won't end here. It's continuing here. And she's part of a group known as the Trail Bridge. They are health professionals, and every year for some time now they come to Ghana to do a lot of work, to train our nurses, to also give back to society, to go to our various training institutions, to pass on knowledge. That's the beauty of it all. You go there, you acquire the knowledge, you learn, you bring it back home to pass it on. So we are going to learn a bit more about them today and to understand what you and I stand to benefit from their, and I hear they buy their own ticket to come. All right, so let me say thank you to Puma Drinks and Way Purified Mineral Water by Casapreco Company Limited. Thank you to Stunning Flora and Deco for the beautiful plants, both natural and artificial, to beautify our set. Thank you to House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. Always grateful to you for feeding us anytime we have recordings. Mrs. Oforipoko and the family, how can I ever thank you enough? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go-Got yogurt. Women yogurt, that's very good for us. And if it has to be yogurt, it has to be Go-Got yogurt, made right here in Ghana. I'll make sure they taste some before they go, you know. And then juice time from the farm to the factory to the bottle to the shelf. They do everything. So we can guarantee that it's 100% fruit juices. And that's one of the juices I take to aid me in my Atia Donko journey. December, you people should wait till you see that Yadrugo. We are still on the journey. But on my set today, let me introduce my guest to you. And seated right opposite me is George Noilati. IT and project management consultant and director of operations, the Bridge. So it's a whole group that has, right people in place, okay? And then next to him, I have Mrs. Joyce Edua Mankwa. She's a midwife. And then we have Dr. Bright Jampo, who is an obstetrician gynecologist at the Bridge Foundation. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's good to have you here, and congratulations for what you're doing for the motherland. So how has it been? You've been in Ghana for how long? Let me start with you, Doc.
We arrived on the 23rd
Okay.
of September, so we've been here for a few days now.
Okay.
How has Ghana been? Bit gloomy in the sense that the weather that I was expecting is completely changed and it's completely different. I was here in March and I could feel the heat, but this is much more pleasant, I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not as hot as.
Okay.
And
But you're going to go back to the cold.
I heard.
Okay, so let me get to Madam Joyce. Where have you been so far since you arrived in Ghana?
We are all on the field
Okay.
for the mission.
Okay.
We all arrive. Most of us arrive on the 23rd.
Okay.
We came as a group,
Right.
and we stayed in a hotel in Accra.
Okay.
And from there, we went to the University of Ghana Medical Center to set up, because we are having teaching there from tomorrow.
Okay. Just so, are you also based in UK or you here?
I'm based in UK.
UK.
Yes.
So all of you came from UK?
Yes, it is. The case is study.
Okay. Okay. And tell me about the Bridge.
Right. Trowbridge is a group of professionals who, in this case, have lived outside the country and think that it's an opportunity for us to bring back what we've learned, both skills, knowledge, and values that we think can make a change into the country through training. So TRIO stands for Training for Improved Outcomes.
Okay.
So over the years, we know most of our friends have come back and they have, been able to do things in so many different ways by being hands-on, either in the hospitals and other disciplines. But we think that to sustain such ventures, training could be the key. And that has been our approach.
Okay. Yes, because I was going to ask you, most of the time we hear that they come, health professionals especially come back, they come to organize free screening, free surgeries, but yours is basically on training.
Yes. Teach them how to fish, and we think they will be better at maintaining their lives through that. So it's always about training. And through that, we also do some scenarios just to bring them back into an understanding that it is not too far from what they're used to, but there might be just improved approach to doing things. But training is quite key for us as a body.
Dr. Jampo, how long has the TRIO been doing this?
Very long time. But we started, we made it more formal in 2018.
Okay.
So if I say it's been going on for a while, it means that we used to do radio programs here and there, outreach programs in the UK, but we thought in 2018, look, let's make this a little bit more formal. So that is when the Trowbridge Foundation was born. Now, the reason why, in fact, we are more or less attached to the Methodist Church in a way. So early part of 2018, a group of Methodist bishops, the top hierarchy, they came to London. And over the years, we've been wanting to do something to help. We know that our maternal mortality and morbidity rates is too high. I mean, there's no reason for any young, healthy woman going to have a baby. There's no reason for that person to die.
Right. I saw the statistics that you were working with 210. Or is it 214? I mean, just 800 every year.
Okay. I mean, in 2020, 776 women died just going to have a baby. I mean, having a baby is a God-sent thing, isn't it? It's a natural thing.
Yeah. The Bible says
So-
children are a gift from God.
Absolutely. And he says, go forth and multiply.
Yeah.
So really, it has to be natural. The number of women who should or who would pass away should be very minimal. So if you compare the United Kingdom, for instance, out of 100,000 women, you will have about 8 or 9 of them dying. And the deaths from these causes is usually around about unknown cardiac disease, something that was not obvious. Compare it to Ghana. Of course, we cannot compare like for like, but just look at the figures.
The figures, right.
Roughly about 350 out of the 100,000 will pass.
Yeah. Which is a bit too much.
A little bit too much. So if you're going to have a baby in this country, you're probably 30-40% likely to pass away.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable. So when we met these Methodist bishops, we told them, look, we have the opportunity, we have the skills, we have the know-how to be able to offer some help. Yes, those working in this country do not have all the lovely gadgets, but that is not all. Okay, amongst all other things, what we do and do really well is training, and training, and training. Every month, you meet as a group and train. And what we train on are managing all these obstetrics or maternal emergencies. Okay, now it's akin to a football team. Every day they are on the park training. So by the time a weekend comes for them to actually hold a match, they know each other's moves. So why can't we do similar thing in a health setting where people's lives are at risk? So in the UK, you do have this mandatory training every month. So by the end of the year, each and every individual in a team would have gone through that training. And it's not just the clinical side of things, it's also working as a team. Because when it comes to emergencies, one person cannot manage it. It needs to be a team. So that team working aspect is a key. Communicating during an emergency is a key. And also human factors, because there are so many things that come to play when it comes to working as a team. So we sold the idea to them, and they said, wow, okay, that is something that we have also been urging or itching to get. So in 2018, we made our first trip to Wenchi Methodist Hospital. And since then, we've been to 37 Military Hospital, where I did my house job. And
so it's like home to you.
So I had to. I had no option. So 37 Military Hospital, Wenchi Hospital. Now we are more based in Ankasi Hospital. And we've added UGMC. So baby steps. But these steps need to be quicker. And that is what we are doing.
It really needs to be quicker. And Madam Joyce, you're a midwife, I saw a video on social media, which, I mean, it's become the norm, where a young lady was getting married and they were saying, we soak your pregnancy in the blood of Jesus. Who the nurses that will be on duty the day you will deliver. We soak the doctor who will work on you. So that is how dangerous it's become, in our country today. And I've been a journalist, 25 years. I've covered these areas. I'm an ambassador for newborn, campaign against newborn deaths. Part of the influencers for exclusive breastfeeding. I'm the national malaria advocate. I'm the national polio. So the health sector, I'm in there. And when I'm talking, I'm quite passionate about it. Attitudes, negligence.
Thank you. That's where we are. All of it is included in the things that we have to do. And as Mr. Jampo said, without training, we cannot make any improvement. And that is what I think Ghana we need most. We need the ongoing training in order to establish good care and best outcome for both mother and for the babies. because we can't take the babies out of it. It's very, very crucial. And as midwives, as nurses, we need to have this continuous professional development in order that we update ourselves with the skills to improve care and update our knowledge and experiences, because that is saving lives. Right. We are there to save lives. And that is why we are here. The team that have come from UK, everybody is working. We have our own regular jobs, 9 to 7. The time we are here is the time that we should have been taken to spend time with our families. Yeah. Our annual leaves. Right. And also paying for your own tickets. At least, I think I'm the one that I would say, I didn't pay for my own tickets because of a team that paid for my tickets. That's
Lucky you.
The Ghana Nursing Association, which I'm part of it, paid for my tickets because they have been affiliated in some ways with the Trio Bridge to support with the training and education. Right. That is why I am with the Trio Bridge, but I want to be part of it in order to improve care, and I am passionate about what they are doing. In fact, it marvels the commitment, the seriousness, the awareness that that goes in. And I just look at that. All these members in the team could have spent their time. It's not just Ghanaian nurses and doctors. Okay. But we have also British doctors with us, midwives with us. Okay. In fact, we have one lady, her name is Maisie, a white lady who's never been to Africa before. Oh, okay. And she's with us, committed to make sure that care in Ghana is improved. And so this is where we stand for.
How are you accepted when you go in there to the various hospital? How is the reception like? Because well, I can say it because most of the time the attitude is you think you know everything because you have it easy there. You have everything at the hospital. You don't know what we are going to do. How is the reception?
The best thing is that I wasn't there when they went to Ankasi last year. Okay. However, on the review, we sat down to see that there was improvement. And one of our senior midwife who was with the team pointed it out that when they came, the situation was worse. But all the measures they pointed out and the help they offered, there has been improvement. So that tells that there is that acceptability in there. And it was interesting to look and see, even Ankasi, how a midwife, her own self, they buy batteries to put in the blood pressure machine.
Oh, yes. That's the least they do. They do a lot of things. Sometimes they pay.
And she said that she goes into the community, into churches, into different areas to try and get the women to come for antenatal clinic and antenatal classes. So she offers education in her own time. So it is there. They do accept it. And we are grateful that they have welcomed us. And we are not here just by our own accord. I mean, we have devoted to come. However, there are others who are supporting us in the mission. Otherwise, we couldn't have done
that. Okay. Let me take a break. When we come back, I will look at how long you think you're going to do this and what's the ultimate goal. What do you really want to see? Apart from the training, do you also donate equipment and stuff to the various communities and other opportunities that you have for the nurses or health professionals right here in Ghana? Well, you're watching The Standpoint. I'm talking to a team from the Trio Bridge based in United Kingdom. Most of them Ghanaians. Every year for some time that they come to Ghana to offer training. And the focus really maternal and infant mortality. Let me say thank you once again to OG's Figure-Wise collection for my dress. Thank you so much to them. And of course, my hair by Inshilo. And then styled by Michelin's Meroth. Makeup by Taba for my makeup products. Always by Note Cosmetics. My beads, by Matilda Hood Couture, and then my shoes. I'm a sitting and walking mannequin, everything of my sponsors. So I keep telling young people who watch me, don't say that, I want some of this. You go and spend money. everything is sponsored, apart from the body sitting here, you know, and even the body is sponsored by God. My shoes by Afrax a Closet. We take a break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Standpoint. George, what keeps you coming back to Ghana to do what you do?
Ghana is my home. I'm fortunate to have my family still here. My parents are still alive. I have my sisters, and I have a lot of friends. And the beautiful thing is that we are in close touch. So I have no case.
Okay, not to come back.
I have no case not to come back.
But you grew up in Ghana?
I did. I schooled in Ghana up to secondary, early tertiary before I left the shore. So I have no excuse whatsoever. And
you've been out there for how long?
What are you trying to do to me, Gifty? Probably just under, probably 25, 26 years. Yeah, thereabouts.
You still haven't forgotten about Ghana?
I come to Ghana every year, at least once. So coming back is just part of what we do. Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Jampo, you said you did your housemanship here, 37 years. So you have bases here, you have that. But of course, being a doctor in UK, you know, is quite, you know what I mean. What keeps you coming? What brings you back?
I had my medical school training here. I went to Prempeh College.
Hey, senior. I'm man for.
I went to Prempeh College and then School of Medical Science.
Okay.
And then I did my, as I said, house job for 2.5 years in 37 Military Hospital before I left to the UK. I have managed to, by the grace of God, rise to the level of a consultant.
Okay.
So as a consultant obstetrician gynecologist, I've been working at that level since 2008.
Okay.
So I can say comfortably that I've got these skills.
Right.
And one of my area of expertise is keyhole surgery, laparoscopic surgery.
Right.
In addition to that, I am so passionate about delivery suite, labor ward management. Right. So I'm part of the team who runs these courses in the hospital. So why do I keep coming back? It is so simple because that training that we are offering to our colleagues in the UK is the same thing that we are trying to do here.
Right.
Because it's simple, it doesn't take loads of gadgets, they are basic things. You know, it is, when you observe us going through these drills and skills, it's just amazing. You do not need fanciful gadgets to come out with a good outcome. So what brings me back is that passion to deliver something. Look, even if we are able to reduce or help reduce maternal mortality by 1%, for instance, over a couple of years, saving one woman's life and saving one baby's life
it's worth
touches my heart.
Right.
And I tend to become emotional about it because I have seen when I was here, women dying unnecessarily, babies dying unnecessarily. So many of them are preventable causes. Now, the number one killer of women in Ghana and most developing countries is what we call major obstetric hemorrhage or postpartum hemorrhage. So a woman is going to have a baby. Yes, they will bleed, but they start bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and we can't do anything about it, and the woman just passes away. Almost every person in any home in this country would have had some association with maternal death through childbirth.
True.
And this is not acceptable. Look, the doctors and nurses and midwives are great. They do a fab job within their constraints. And that is where, but because they are so worked up, sometimes they lose that focus of who is the most important person here, a woman. Okay? Eclampsia and
Yeah.
preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia, yeah.
Maternal sepsis. If a woman has sepsis, you need to be doing something within 1 hour. Otherwise, beyond that, things get worse. Obstructed labor, abortions, or what we describe as miscarriages.
Yeah.
These are things that can be easily managed. But for some reason, it is not working that way. And sometimes I describe us as adult women and girls health advocates, because that's what we do.
You're right.
We try and help them. Look, I always say that a woman walking into a hospital to have a baby should go out of that hospital with a baby to a happy home.
Right.
And that is what drives us to do what we're doing.
Right. Amazing. And of course, I mean, that's wonderful to hear, and something that we need, as you rightly said. Doctors and nurses and midwives are doing a great job here, and sometimes they get overwhelmed. But that's another discussion for them, talking about attitude, but that's another thing altogether. But, you know, you also grew up here?
Yes.
Yes, and Asafo Mami.
Also, mommy.
You also for Mami? I heard it's your husband who is also for.
My husband.
Yes, so you are Asafo
Asafo Mami.
Asafo for Mami. Your husband is Osofo. Or you're also Osofo.
I think for midwifery, we've hold on to that.
Now, you have an interesting journey to
I know.
midwifery. If you don't mind, can you share a bit with us? Yeah.
So-
because may encourage somebody out there.
Okay.
Right.
I started here as a primary school teacher.
Okay.
And when I joined my husband, I started doing so many courses, through to Oxford and carried on. However, I realized that I needed to do either continue the midwifery, continue the teaching, or change a profession. And I think it was when I have had one of the children and 11 months old, I started working in a hospital as a domestic assistant. I felt I wanted to continue there.
In our language, who is a domestic assistant in
Good.
a British hospital?
As somebody who cleans the hospital.
Okay.
So let's say labor ward. Somebody has had a delivery. I will be cleaning
Okay.
the rooms, pick up the rubbish, and giving them food. That is where I started.
Right.
But I had a passion to do something and to continue. So I ended up becoming a care assistant in the same hospital,
Okay.
because I was watching how they were doing things and how they would watch the women. I was so passionate about that. So I was learning. So one time they had no care assistant and I had to step in. And that is where I ended up permanent care assistant. So from then, I said to myself, I need to further medication. It's either I'm going to be teaching, or it was a bit of challenge on making the decision. But then I applied to the teaching and to the midwifery. Both I was accepted. But sometimes I think the decision comes when you have conviction.
Right.
So I pursued the midwifery education, and I became a midwife 2004. I remember when I was going to midwifery, I was still breastfeeding. My baby was 4 months old. I didn't know how I can manage it. But if you have a support as a husband, that's why I don't want to leave him out. He gave me the support. I managed to finish the training and work as a midwife in the labor ward for 10 years, and then become a senior midwife for 6 years.
The same hospital?
The same hospital.
Where you started as a domestic?
As a domestic
assistant. Okay.
So at the same hospital, I am still working. So from being a senior midwife, I was approached to open up a service for sickle cell and thalassemia. To be honest with you, I had no knowledge about it.
Right.
And so I was working 1 day a week in the fetal medicine unit with the senior midwife in this process. And time went by, my passion grew, and I became more understanding of the condition, which is to do with red blood cell. And it's a condition that is underplayed, it's overlooked, attention is not given. And every time I see, even only last 2 weeks before I came, I had a lady who was diagnosed as a sickle cell disease just 2 years before she became pregnant. And I was urgently needing to see her. And she's from Ghana.
Whoa.
And I've had 3 patients who are sickle cell disease. One of them was diagnosed when she was pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah. So why am I...
Even in UK?
Even in UK, because these are Ghanaians that have gone through. Now, I'm on a national board trying to map up the pathway of service for the sickle cell and thalassemia.
Okay.
And in the discussion, we realized that some children have been coming through without being diagnosed as sickle cell disease, and they're having pains. And that is where my passion has been from. So I'm still in the same hospital, have developed the sickle cell service, and I've been there since 1997.
Okay.
And I'm still working in the same...
And now you are in a management position.
Managing the sickle cell and thalassemia position. Yeah.
Position.
Yeah.
So I needed you to tell the story. This is the story you told me that, you know, drew me closer to you, because what I take in is the power of learning. Yeah. You were there even then you were learning, yeah, and adding value to yourself. Yeah. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with learning every time and improving yourself. So what you're doing here, what I take, George, from it is that apart from teaching them or training them to help us, it also goes to help them as nurses, as midwives, as doctors, as health professionals to develop.
Yeah. Because when you develop yourself, then you can improve care.
Yeah.
Because without developing yourself, without updating your knowledge, you can't improve the care.
You can
because
give
you don't
what you don't
understand.
have.
Exactly.
Now, before I take a break, Dr. Jampo, what was the shocker for you? The first time you came here to do the training and you went to the Winchi Methodist Hospital, what was the first thing that shocked you?
To be fair with you, nothing shocked me.
Okay.
The reason is I did some work here before I went.
Okay.
So I was in Obs and Gynae for, you know, a year and a bit. I did my rotation. So I wouldn't say there was a shocker. There were some strange things
Okay.
that I saw, which I then reflected on and said, oh, okay, yes, that is what I saw before. Cool. It is... We can do better. We can do better. Some of the things that is used here is quite rudimentary. The system needs upgrading. Now, the number one shocker, I would say, is the lack of protocols and guidelines. Okay, so everything that you do has to be evidence-based. You just don't get up and do things, okay? So if I'm going to manage a woman who is having disease A, this is the guideline. And these guidelines are evidence-based, okay? So there isn't much of standard operating procedures, guidelines. And a typical example, for instance, if you're going to do an operation on a woman or any patient, okay, there is a checklist. Have you done this? A, B, C, D. In fact, it even starts with introducing yourself to the team members. Because I may not know this person and I may not know her qualities. Okay, so it starts with introduction. And then, have you done this? Have you checked this? When you are going on an airplane, do you know what the pilots do? They do a thorough check before they take off. Why don't we do the same? And that is something that is done on regular basis for every patient who is going to theatre.
Why don't we do the same? Is it complacency?
Probably they don't see the value of it. Probably. I may be wrong, but probably they don't see the value of it. And as I said, they are potentially overworked as well. Right. The number of patients to one health professional is probably too much. Yeah. So when emergencies come, they just get on with it. But that is where the problem is. It's even during emergencies that you have to be even more careful. Where everything has to be checked and checked and checked before you proceed. So one of the shockers was those systems that were not in place.
Well, let me take another break when we come back because, we've got into a situation where, I'm sure you've heard the news. You heard them before you came, and you've also experienced the no bed syndrome, where they will have to weigh whose case is worse before they get you a bed. And you go to emergency, they have to look at, it's not about saving order, but you have to weigh, okay, can we afford for this one to die? Or we have to save. I mean, there are people who are still afraid to go to the hospital. They would not go to hospital. We are in October, which is breast cancer month, so maybe we'll touch a bit on that before we go, because you're still in here, midwife, obstetrician, gynecologist. You do the breast examination for us sometimes. Because while you're watching the Standpoint, and I believe we're all learning, and health professionals are learning and unlearning, because as I always say, knowledge is limitless. Every time there's something new, and we all need to learn. We take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Welcome back to the Standpoint once again, on the 5th of November 2020, 11 a.m. prompt at the Trinity Baptist Church. Yes, Gifty Auntie at 25 years, Inactive Media, worship program, and of course, launch of the Gifty Auntie Foundation. Come in white. All white. Yes, come join me to raise an altar of worship unto God, to thank God for how far He's brought me. A lot of you meet me. Oh, I was a baby when you were on TV. I was a baby. I watched you when I was a baby. Well, now you're a grown-up woman. 25 years hasn't been easy, but God has been faithful. The theme is, Lord, receive my gratitude. Do you have an offering of gratitude unto God? Then come join us. It's free. Free, open to all. Trinity Baptist Church, 5th of November 2022. Trinity Baptist Church is opposite UPSA on the Medina Road. So be there, come support us. And if you want to sponsor us or support us, the number to call is 020-3535-500, 020-3535-500, or 0543-618182. That's also a Momo. So if you want to support us in cash and in kind, and I'm pleading with you to support us, we need to pay for the venue, the artists will be coming. So please, please support us to make this worthy of worship unto God, okay? So don't miss out on that. Now, let me say thank you to Fuma Drinks and Away Purified Mineral Water for supporting us. Juice Time, 100% fruit juices. Gogoti Yogurt by Penta Food. Stunning Floral and Decor, House of Food, Auntie Vera, thank you so much. And then thank you to Yep Cleaning Services, who make sure that our environment is always clean before, during, and after every recording, and even on ordinary days. So we're so grateful for all the support. So this is how many times? Since 2008. So 2018, 2019. So about 5 years now, you've been doing this.
Yes.
And obviously, you've seen some improvement. That's why Trail Bridge keeps doing this. What will be the happiest moment for the Trail Bridge?
When we set off, we said to ourselves, we will not stop until we see a change. And the change will come in the hospitals, will come somewhere else. We'll talk about in a minute, about preschool, pre-service education. But it would be beautiful if we sit here one day and we say, we are sponsored to do this, because it's been 3-4 years running that every year each member, be it a volunteer or a member of the organization, paying for their own ticket to come down. It's not just about flying in here,
right,
but there's a lot of logistics involved in that.
Hotel and everything.
Yes. And as we do this every year, the numbers are increasing. We would love to be able to bring as many Ghanaians as would want to be able to give back, to come and serve their country in this way. So by that, we are serving as a channel
Exactly.
but it will need support. So we want to find ourselves as a foundation at a given point that we are self-surviving,
Right.
not individuals doing that, because it could be straining, and it is
Yeah.
straining at the moment.
course.
So that's something we're looking forward to. That will be a happy day.
Okay, the happy day. Now, Auntie Joyce, would you like to take the
Pre-service.
pre-service education?
So there is Methodist Health Education Institute in Afosu.
Okay.
And the Tree Bridge team came and they recognized that this school need a lot of help.
Okay.
So it was so amazing to see the computers, a whole room, big room computers, they have shipped over through IT. So we need hands on board to be able to carry this vision forward. So when they brought it and we went to review it on Monday, the computer being set beautifully. And that is for their training and for the education. And that is where Ghana Nursing Association in UK also came along, that they approached us to support the school in terms of offering coaching, mentoring, and helping the teachers to offer the education that is required. So this is the point we are. We came there on Monday and we donated some books also for them for their training. If you look at the library, there isn't much books there. So as well as with the program is focusing on the qualified nurses on field, or the qualified doctors on field. It's also focusing on the education right from the start. So then we can build up. When they come out, they are prepared to come out fully. So this is where we are also taking it from.
Okay.
So it's not just on the on the hospitals,
Right.
but we are looking into the training
Okay.
also, or pre-registration, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
So one of the emphasis is nurturing.
Nurturing. Right.
Because, you realize that when you qualify and you start practicing, you pick up certain attitudes and behaviors that is very difficult to change. Okay? You pick up some culture because you work within a particular culture and you learn from that culture.
Right.
And, I don't have to tell you about some of the behaviors from our doctors and nurses.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, when we went to Ankasi and we were doing human factors, one of the nurses was saying something about some of these doctors, they are rude. These are some of the things that you pick up.
Yeah.
So, part of the job that we want to do is to, then start nurturing them from the nursing and midwifery school.
Yeah.
Give them that culture of good behaviors,
Yeah.
bedside manners. And then they will grow with it and become better nurses and doctors.
Yeah, there's always, especially when the doctors are very young and the nurses who have been there for years and older, some of them, their children are older than you, the doctor, and you come in working, oh Lord. It's always a tough one, I had a program with some of my young doctors and doctors, and well, they are my daughters. I call them my daughters as well. Then the title was Baby Doctors. You watch that one, Baby Doctors, and they share the experiences, and it's all about human relations, isn't it? How you treat each other, relate to each other.
Incivility is one of the things we talk against.
Okay.
I'm
yes,
sure we'll come to donations, but
yes. We are there. We was coming to you for
fantastic.
donations. Yes.
Right. So if I pick on the pre-service support that we're giving, we're invited, really. We're invited by the Methodist Church to see what we can do to support that institution which they had just acquired. And, under everything we do as a group, we are very firm in the faith. Nothing happens just by chance.
No, absolutely.
From day one that we set out to come here, the donations that we've had were just flowing, not even when we knocked. People hear about us and they give. And last year, we were just tired. We're itching to come here. We're tired of just being locked in by COVID.
I
so
know,
we came.
Right? Oh, so last year you came?
Quietly. And it was just because we had so many IT and office equipment. And, look at how it fits into the strategy. We felt, okay, we are not going to be supplying hospitals with computers. That's not our job.
No.
But now we have this institution here, and we want to make them look better. We want them to see the world in its own future now, because everything is going digital.
Digital, yes.
Just go and give it to them.
Yeah.
So initially, we were able to give them about 40 computers, projectors.
Wow.
And we haven't seen them until on Monday. Joyce and another member, Evelyn, and I went to Afosu, and it was beauty to see a whole hall set up with over 90 computers. And that supports their education, their exams. And our vision really is to sit in UK, because not everybody can come in, and we'll be able to do the teaching remotely.
Yeah.
So we brought them cameras and televisions big enough for them to be able to receive the feed.
Right.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. And thank you so much. On behalf of the many women and young people in Ghana, I say thank you. Thank you, because we need that in the end, we are the ones going to benefit from it. And this is awesome. That's awesome.
I'm sure Brian
Now,
will
conclusion,
talk about some of the medical equipment that we've...
Oh, okay. So you brought medical equipment as well?
Always.
Oh yes. So a couple of years ago, well, in fact, every year that we come. So where I work, one of the standard things is every 5 years you have to change your machinery. Why are you laughing? So ultrasound scan machines.
Because I know some equipment at Kolebu that are 50 years old. Sorry.
I mean,
that is true.
yeah,
I mean, it's true.
So ultrasound scan machines, you have to change it every year, every 5
5
years. Because, and it's all about accountability. If you use a machine that fails to make the appropriate diagnosis, you get sued. Okay? So that needs to be changed. And when they change them, it goes for either auctioning or they give it to charity.
Right.
Straight away, we are in there. Okay, so we managed to bring these hospitals that we work with some ultrasound scan machines. In fact, yesterday we donated one machine to the Dementia Hospital in Kumasi. And it's not just that, loads of other hospital equipment, just to support them in what they're doing. Yes, so...
For those of them receiving it, it's important to say that they don't just come like that. I mean, the latest 20-footer we brought in cost us over 3,000.
I was going to ask you.
3,000 pounds.
3,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Clearing from the port here?
No.
Shipping.
Just shipping from the UK.
Okay. Yeah, but I want to find out, is it easy for you to clear the goods from the equipment from the port here?
I will give you two sides to it. The first side is that there is a protocol in place for charities through organizations to clear. You go through the ministries and you get a waiver. But unfortunately, in our experience, by the time you get a waiver, you are already in demurrage. So where do you sit? Would you just go and pay for it and then walk away with it, or you want to go through the protocol and then get to that far? So there are things that we can do. There's
a lot more to do.
And there are so many stories of people bringing ambulances, and
that's why I asked.
Yes, and it's frustrating because, as Bright said, these equipments are there. We want to position ourselves in that anytime they become available, we are bringing it down to our motherland. They will serve a purpose. But if, on the other hand, the logistic management here is difficult, then it becomes
I have a group in the US who said they were fed up, so now they take it to other African countries. They don't bring it to Ghana anymore, which is a shame.
I had a certain man some years ago that we were going to bring, or say to part of it was part of it. We were going to bring some materials, beds and the rest. It was, and the van for the screening,
Right.
we had one. It wasn't, we couldn't ship them. We couldn't access to, because we were, even to get to Ghana High Commission, it was another challenge for them. So they had to return to some, it was there. And the hospital kept calling. In the end, they have to give up and send it to another country. So we are losing on that. If they can improve on that aspect for us, it will be helpful, particularly for the charities who are bringing things into the country to support the development and improvement of healthcare. Very important.
Very important. No one should struggle in trying to do good, isn't it? You know, especially when in your position where you have to pay your own ticket to take care of your own accommodation and everything, and you're not getting anything, out of it. You're not any money. You're just, it's voluntary. No one gets paid for it. But maybe next year, we should focus on that. We'll do a program on basically look at how, you treat it and the various policies in place. And we have to move on to, pushing for policies, change of policies, and that will have to help the country. Simple as that. Well, thank you so much and wish you all the best. And even as you go back into the cold, to enjoy, I'm just, teasing you, to enjoy cold Christmas. Cold Christmas. I know, right?
Waiting for you to come back.
We are grateful. Once again, we are so grateful, so all the best. And don't give up on us, please. And I know you'll never give up. Okay. I'll be back with a bit of me. Health is wealth. So you can have all the money you need in this world, but there may come a time that your money can never buy you the quality health that you need, especially in our country called Ghana. This particular message is for our brothers and sisters outside this country. Yes, we know you care about us. Yes, we know that you have family here, but we call on you never to forget what you left behind. This is your homeland. This is your country. I know most of you watch me out there on YouTube, on Facebook, and even on Joy Prime. We are calling on you to support in your own way. Government cannot do. In fact, we've reached a point where we do not have to rely on government, but we have to rely on our little collective efforts. Every little helps. So in any way that you can, please reach out and help. This month I've been talking about charity and giving and supporting. That's all that's been on my heart. The month of October, getting to November, it's giving, give. In any sector, our health system here, there's no shying from saying the truth. It's nothing to write home about. And we need all the support. So in any way that you can help, our educational sector needs help. I mean, all sectors of our economy need help. Our women need help. There aren't even enough shelters for abused and women and children. We need help in so many ways. So please, if you find yourself in a situation, in a position, in a condition, in an environment that you know you can help your people back home in Ghana, don't hesitate. Please reach out. There are organizations, there are foundations that you can work through it. The Gifty Foundation has been registered, duly registered. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I always come back to give account of what has been done and what is being done. I'd like to say thank you to Omama Healthcare based in the USA who have supported in various ways, and other institutions and organizations who are doing that. We're so grateful to you, because when you give, we give. If you can bring it directly to whoever you want to give it to in Ghana, why not? Excellent. But if you can't, They are credible, registered NGOs and foundations who can do it for you. So don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I remain a woman with super crazy faith in God. I know God has got us covered. I know miracles still happen, but God has given us wisdom. What he has given us wisdom to do, he will not do it miraculously. Let's do our bit and trust God to do the rest. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.